Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. The ODWC's Outdoor Oklahoma magazine has been a staple for wildlife enthusiasts for nearly 80 years, making it one of the longest running published magazines in the nation. It's one of our agency's crown jewels that we're most proud of. Its photography and writing is critically acclaimed by its peers, and it wins awards every year. But what we're most proud of is the connection that it continues to bridge for those who appreciate wildlife with the ODWC. Today, this is our 660th issue rolling off the press. And while our society is moving away from printed publications and more towards digital media, the Outdoor Oklahoma magazine continues to have a strong and loyal following with subscribers in all 50 states. And for just $10 a year, it's another reason to love Oklahoma and the adventures that await you.
A lot of folks use the springtime as a reminder to get out there and go outdoors. And a great alarm clock for when we should start going outdoors is when the redbuds start to bloom. That's a good reminder of when the crappie are about to spawn, the sand bass are starting to run, the paddlefish are running, the morel mushrooms are starting to grow. But a lot of folks don't realize that that redbud blossom is actually edible. You can eat it straight off the tree or you can turn it into things. It has a light floral taste and a little bit sweet. Today we're going to take those flavors and elevate them even more by turning those blossoms into redbud jelly. The first thing that you'll need to do is pick a whole bunch of blossoms. I've got here about 4 cups. Now with that, we're going to take those, got a bowl here, and we're going to dump all those blossoms in. Now if you've got a couple of pieces of stem or leaves or anything like that, it's not a big deal. We're actually going to take and strain this once we're done. Got a pot of water that's boiling over here on the stove with about 4 cups of water in it. We're going to take these 4 cups and slowly pour it over those blossoms, letting them all get nice and soaked in. Perfect. Now it's going to at first look a little bit green. We're going to actually put some saran wrap over this and let it sit for at least 24 hours. And in that time, all of that natural pigment of those flowers is going to come out into the water, and we're going to turn that into like a redbud tea. And that's what we'll use to actually make the jelly. So I'm going to put some saran wrap on here. Get it nice and tight. Then we're going to slide this guy into the fridge. I've actually got one that I did yesterday so that we would be able to have some to work with today. So we'll slide this guy into the fridge real quick and grab that other one and we'll be good to go. So the first thing that we will need to do after we've sat for 24 hours is take our saran wrap off, and then I've got a strainer here and then just a large glass measuring bowl. That way we can see how much tea we're actually going to get. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take this bowl and slowly pour it in, and we'll start to get all those buds out and into the strainer. So once we've got a good amount of them in there and it's full, we can start to slowly press down on that. And it's okay if a few fall in there because we'll probably strain this a couple of times just to make sure we don't end up with anything in there. Great. Now I'll add the last little bit that's in there. Make sure we get all of the redbud tea out. Outstanding. Then we'll simply toss these in the trash. Now we can go a couple times here and strain it back through. Just so we're being sure to get all those little spots out. because we won't want those in our jelly. Perfect. We're right about 4 cups. So 4 cups of tea is going to be the basis of our recipe. It's pretty simple. We'll take 4 cups of the Redbud tea, 4 cups of sugar. We'll use 6 teaspoons of the Sure Gel or pectin, and then we'll also use 4 teaspoons of lemon juice. We'll put all those in the pot here. We're gonna go ahead and let this sugar start to dissolve into this tea, and we're gonna move it over to the stove. Once we've warmed up a little bit, we're gonna add the Sure Gel in. Now, while this is actually warming up, is a great time to start working on getting your jars put into your water bath. We wanna do that so that the jars are all sanitary. Whenever we're dealing with making jams or canning or anything like that, we want to make sure that the jars are nice and clean so that we can have them on our shelves in our pantry for 18 months or more to be able to use them down the road. We're going to open up our water bath. Now, in this water canner, you can use a stove or a stock pot or anything like that, but you want to have a wire basket in there so that you're not letting the jars touch the bottom of the container. That'll actually make them break. So we don't want that. We can come in with our jars and we basically just want to let them get nice and hot so that they all become sanitary. So once all those are in there, we're just going to let them have a nice little steam bath, and we will let all that come up to temperature. So once we've added in the 6 tablespoons of pectin or Sure Gel, we're going to let that dissolve into our sugary tea and let that come to a hard boil for 1 minute. And a hard boil is basically a boil you can't stir down, so it'll kind of froth up. Once that's done, we're going to turn the fire off and move it over onto the counter. So we've brought this pot over from the stove after we've got our good hard boil, and we're going to let it cool just a little bit while we're moving our jars over here in a minute. But you'll notice I've put a towel down on the counter. That's going to let the jars cool down a little bit more slowly as the jelly's transferred into it. The making the jelly's done. Now we just need time on our side. But again, we want to have this jelly around for 18 months in our pantry. So I'm going to go pull the jars off of the stove. To do that, you'll actually want some jar tongs to be able to pull those out. From here, take our ladle, and we will start to try to not make a mess, ladle these into the jars. Now, we want to make sure to not overfill these, and so there's actually a tool called a headspace gauge to make sure that we have the right headspace. Each recipe for jelly has a little bit different headspace that it wants. For Redbud jelly, they want about 1/4 inch of headspace, so we want to make sure that we're not overfilling them. That's perfect. And you don't have to measure every one of them. Once you've got one measured, you can kind of use it as a reference as you're going through and filling the rest of your jars. All right, our jelly's all transferred. Put our pot in the sink. Now, for the actual canning part, move some of this stuff out of the way here so it's not in our way when we start to can. Now, with a jar, there's really 3 parts. There's the jar, the ring, and then the lid, which are in the pot boiling behind me. So I'm going to pull one of the lids or set it on there, and then we'll put the rings on there. Now we're going to go back into the water canner or the hot water bath, this time for 10 minutes once it gets up to a boil. So we're going to open that up again using our tongs because those jars are still pretty warm, especially with the jelly in them. We're going to slowly transfer them back into the hot water bath. Now with this, you want to have enough water in there that the jars are going to have at least an inch of water over the top. That way they're going to be allowed to fully seal. Now, when you're canning, about 10 minutes is plenty to be able to get a good seal. So once those jars have boiled for about 10 minutes, we'll pull them out and we'll let them sit on the counter for about 24 hours. After that, we can put them on the pantry and enjoy them for months. So the next time that you're outdoors enjoying all that Oklahoma has to offer, whether that's fishing or hunting or foraging for mushrooms or whatever it may be, remember that there's another untapped resource that you may not have used yet, the redbud tree. So pop one of those redbuds off and taste it. Enjoy its light floral flavor and that little bit of sweet taste. If you really like it, pick a whole bunch, come home, and make some redbud jelly.
But for still more exciting canoe fishing, let's go to the Illinois River in northeastern Oklahoma. For on the Illinois, you can catch both the spotted and smallmouth bass, as well as the largemouth. Furthermore, the Illinois River is considered by many as the most beautiful clear-water fishing stream in Oklahoma. It originates in the hills of Arkansas, enters Oklahoma near the town of Watts, and winds its way across several counties. This is a typical scene along the Illinois, with the background restful and eye-appealing. And here you get some real action with that maneuverable little craft known as the canoe. Yes, sir, the canoe is ideal for this type of fishing. And if you're lucky, it doesn't take long to get a strike. The bigmouth bass are found in quiet holes like this. Smallmouth bass, or brownies, are swift water lovers, preferring gravel bottoms and rocky holes. The spotted, or Kentucky bass, inhabit waters bordered by clay banks, overhanging trees, and partially submerged logs. However, you can always stop and do a little casting from the shore. Canoe trips may be 1, 2, or 3 days. 3-day trips from the Arkansas line to Tahlequah are the most popular. But longer trips can extend as far downstream as 10 Killer. And all along the way, they offer unrivaled scenic beauty as well as good fishing. Yes, sir, bass fishing from a canoe is a lot of fun, whether you do it on a farm lake or on a river like the Illinois. But just remember, if you're going fishing in a canoe, you had first better learn how to handle that tricky little boat. Only experts can do it as easily as these fellows.
Yeah, ever since I started fishing here, I always thought it would be nice if I can win one of these slip. Usually it's the bass right before it start winning. And actually when it start winning, even that 30 minutes is really great. The sunrise here is incredible. You'll enjoy that as much as anything. Actually, when I have enough money, instead of buying a car like most of the kids, I bought me a boat. I finished around 12-year-old. We come in here to Oklahoma from San Francisco. And just as soon as we got here, we met up with this elderly man, and he took us fishing, and it sort of stayed forever. Just the outdoors so nice and addictive. Been fishing ever since I can remember. He actually took us to a farm pond first But the farm pond is so far to go. Lake Hefner is the closest lake to our house. So my brother Tom and I sometimes just ride our bike from 11 and Youngs up to Lake Hefner. And we started out using worms. And this elderly gentleman showed us how to use what he called a door fry. They call it jigs nowadays, but he showed us how to tie our own door fries. Now have to look for them. There's different areas. They like to hang around more. So have to see which way the wind is blowing, then we'll decide which way to start first. Since the wind's coming out of the west today, so the east bend would be a little bit better. There's a sandbar that comes up here with the direction of the wind. The fish may be on this side, they're feeding. The fastest way to find them is do a little bit what we call trolling. It's basically put some crankbait in the water and dry around fast enough to cover a lot of water. They tend to be in shallower water early in the morning. So we'll start at the shallower water. I lost my fishing partner a couple of years ago, so I have to do most of this by myself now. We've been fishing together ever since we know how to ride a bike. But he passed a couple of years ago. Oh, we love the outdoors. Like to hunt and fish. I'm the one in the middle, so I do both. My older brother likes to hunt and Tom loves to fish. Many people come in and we talk about fishing and where to go and how to catch them. Yeah, so he likes to show off, that's why he's got all his pictures out here. And his power, his catches. Well, that's his walleye. He caught our Lake Hefner, but we normally catch them at night time or late in the evening after we get off work, where most people are already asleep. And that is a bass he caught out of a farm pond. He goes to whatever farm pond he can get permission to go into. And we go there and see if there's any good fish there. And then this some of the photo he have from different places and different towns. But there are so many photos, he put them all out here. We'll have a line the whole restaurant. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I got this big boat. He's kind of handicapped, need a little help, so this boat give him room for wheelchairs and a lot of room to fish. When he got much older, that he have cancer. That's what put him in the wheelchair. We lost Tom in 2019, and that's really hard on me because we fish all the time, and now he's not here. He just didn't feel the same for a long time. But eventually I got back out and start picking up where we left because I finally realized he wanted me to be fishing. And he is probably looking over my shoulder, be sure that I'm catching fish. So I went back out and picked up a fin here and there and still enjoy the outdoors. It's always good to be out with somebody, whether you are just having fun or you are out there targeting special fish and really want to catch that one type of fish. It's always helpful, and it's safe, a lot safer to have somebody fishing or hunting together. This is a sand bass. This could be a little high, but it's got a little line, booking line in it. It's darker than normal. I've been fishing at Lake Hefner for 55 years. And I see how the lake change, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Of course, I think I'm the best, but there's always room for improvement. And once you find them, you can either continue throwing back and forth the same spot, or you can stop and use jig or spoon for them. When my children turn 16, what I give them for their 16th birthday is not a car, it's the lifetime hunting and fishing license. Maybe I'm just can't afford a car, but I want them to be able to enjoy the outdoors as much as I do, because it's getting to be less and less of it. All your big tall buildings coming up everywhere, so we need to treasure this one activity we still be able to enjoy. I love to see the young ones pick up fishing, and I don't have a whole lot against video games, but I think if they go out and enjoy the outdoor a little bit, it's better for them, for their health and their mind. It's always good when we can get out. We didn't get our limit or something, but we're definitely happy to be out.
Well, we hope today's stories remind you that Oklahoma is such a perfect place to explore. So no matter how you choose to enjoy our incredible natural world, remember, your adventure starts with Outdoor Oklahoma television and magazine. Okay. Outdoor Oklahoma is produced by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation and is proud to serve and be funded entirely by sportsmen and women and outdoor enthusiasts who love and appreciate all things wild in the great state of Oklahoma.